Oh, well, I can't restart my computer now. What? If they reboot, yeah, do, as long as the meeting doesn't go down. That's the biggest thing. Thank you. I'm just going to bring Ms. Gomez in real quickly and start there. Hi, Ms. Gomez. Can you get on screen? I'm Judge Person.
Yes, Judge Person. I'm sorry, give me just a second.
It's okay. I let you in early with Mr. Mattson because I did receive a continuance, but it was Friday. And of course, we weren't here yesterday. So I was actually just about to grant that continuance because I think the state had no objection. Can we go ahead and do that and let you get to the thing you're trying to do?
Yes, Your Honor. There's no objection from the state on continuing that.
Okay. I saw you on the meeting and I thought I would just bring you in first and let you go. Okay.
Thank you, Judge. I appreciate it.
Thank you. You take care. Okay.
All right, you too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Here comes everyone. So I'm actually going to repeat myself just a few times because I'm Judge Person and people are connecting at varying speeds. But I want to let you, I want to say good morning to everyone and let you know that I will unmute you when it's your turn and everyone will have an opportunity to have their case heard. I was doing some technical things, and so we're starting just a few minutes after 9. Appreciate your patience. And I did also want to let you know that I'm also creating a breakout room for those who are here on the pretrial docket. The pretrial docket is a contested docket, so normally it meets in the courtroom, but we still are keeping the convenience of the Zoom process for that right now. So again, most people are connected now. Welcome to the Temple Municipal Court, and I'm Judge Person. And actually, I'm going to begin the pretrial process with Attorney Swain and Attorney Mattson. And before I do that, Mr. Mattson, Ryan Mattson, is the prosecutor for the city. If you're on the pretrial docket, you've pleaded not guilty. We're moving that into a separate room, so to speak, a virtual room, so that that conversation is out of hearing of the judge. That would be me. That's appropriate. If we were in the courtroom, it's in a room off to the side of the court. And that's an appropriate space to do that. So we're just going to honor the way that we do things in a courtroom because this is considered court. And so, Mr. Mattson, Mr. Swain, I'll go ahead and get y'all started. There's no reason to hit any kind of delay for y'all. And Mr. Mattson, I'm going to... Okay, so, and that's happened. They've gone on over. So they'll come back shortly. And what you'll find is I'm juggling back and forth between a couple of, thank you, a couple of meet people. I do want to just kind of make sure that I understand who's here and that I have the proper files pool. So let me just make a quick review real quickly. There were just a couple of people I could not quite identify. And I have a few folks on phone call and that never gives me your name. Phone caller on 254 area code, and the last 3 to 4 numbers, they only give me 3, and it's usually not quite 4, last 3 plus minus the last number. It's difficult, but the last numbers are 363, and I'm sending you an unmute request, asking you to unmute and just tell me your name, please. That would be very helpful. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I'm good. How are you?
Thank you very much. I'm fine. I'm Judge Person. Can you tell me your name?
My name is Ashley Johnson.
Okay. Good. Thank you, Ms. Johnson. I have you marked down, and I just wanted to make sure that I'm identifying the right person. I'll tell you that on the phone, there's this kind of tendency to sort of tune it out because you're just on the phone and, you know, it's not super loud. So just listen, because at a certain point, I'll call your name. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you, ma'am. I'll be with you soon. And I had another phone caller with the area code 254 ending in 122. And again, I'm sending you just an unmute request. Let me know your name. That will really help me make sure I understand who's here, make sure I have the right files. Ma'am, please, or sir.
Can you hear me?
Well, that I have you named as Veronica, and that was
That's my wife's name. I'm on her computer and stuff. My name is Rodney Ford.
okay. So let's see. Veronica is, that was another question I had. Mr. Ford. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Got you down. And your play, but you're not the phone number then?
No, my phone number. That's my wife's number. I'm on her computer.
Okay, and so is she also on the meeting or just?
No, she's in. She's working from home in her other room.
Okay, that works. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
I'll call your name shortly. And Woodruff, Harold Woodruff, are you here? I think that's your number ending in 122, actually. So I will just go ahead and hopefully we'll match it at a certain point. And
yes, ma'am.
Yeah, okay. So hi, Mr. Woodruff. You're on the pretrial docket, and I will be back with you shortly. But just keep an ear out for your name, okay?
I'm sorry, I unmuted by phone direction, and you said 5122 is the last four?
No, it's like 122 plus a number. I don't know.
Okay, I'm sorry.
It's okay. That's why I'm calling out your name. So you're Mr. Woodruff, correct?
No, ma'am.
No. What is your name?
Gary Zimmerman.
Zimmerman.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Mr. Zimmerman.
You're welcome.
I'll keep track of you now. Thank you. And I'll remute you, but I'll call your name out shortly, okay?
All righty.
Okay, what folks don't see always, and I see everyone, is we have, 17, 18 people. And, I'm just trying to keep the line moving, so to speak. So I'm moving quick, but it's not to upset anyone or make you feel rushed. It's because I just want to strike that balance of respecting your time as well as addressing the court needs, okay? Mr. Swain, Mr. Mattson, I think y'all were meeting about the Cookins case. Where are we with regard to that matter?
Your Honor, we'll go ahead and set for final, and Mr. Swain will take an offer back to his client.
Okay, Mr. Swain, as you know, the procedure, I'll just remind you, November 16th at 1 o'clock is the live in court setting. And I think that's already in your paperwork, but we'll have you down for that time, okay?
Great. Yes, I have that already. Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, Mr. Swain. You're good to go.
Appreciate that.
Yes. Mr. Mattson, you're also here on the, Mr. Kramer is here for Sylvana Rosaro, and I will go ahead and move y'all into that break.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Morning. How are you, Mr. Kramer?
Great. How are you, Judge?
Thank you. I'm very well.
Thank you.
I'll move you on over to that meeting.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. And so I also have just a couple of people. There's an iPhone gentleman with kind of a shadow on the face, 5 o'clock shadow is what we used to call it. What's your name, please? Unmute if you could. Oh, I'm sorry. I accidentally muted you when we hit it at the same time.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. My name is Stephen Aviles.
Okay, Mr. Aviles, thank you very much.
Yes, ma'am.
Let's see. Got you down. And then I had another iPhone. It might have changed its, y'all might have changed your name already because I'm not seeing it, but we'll just keep going. We'll catch as we can. So I think we have enough to be getting on with. So I did want to just let everybody know a couple of things about how things move through a Class C court. When you're given a ticket or issued a citation, those are all methods that we have under the law for accusing someone. That is what a ticket is. It is an accusation. A plea is your answer or response to the accusation. There are 3 options for pleading: guilty, not guilty, and no contest. Guilty means I did this. Not guilty means state needs to prove their case against me. And no contest means I'm not saying yes or no. I just want to move forward with sentencing, not contesting it. Okay. If you plead guilty or no contest, we're moving into sentencing. If I've already accepted your plea, we're here to talk about what's going on with your sentence, with your court order, because there's some trouble. So I've got every kind of thing on my docket, and I will take them as they unfold. And then the other thing is, if you're pleading not guilty, we're moving that into a contested docket process. We still have online meetings for just to see if the case is resolvable. It may or may not be. I really don't have an opinion about that. But if it's unresolved at the end of the pretrial today, we come to court for a final docket. That's prior to trial. We're setting the trial. We are dealing with any pretrial matters. We're doing the announcement docket like they do in a normal court, because this is court. And so that is live. So I just want to kind of manage the expectation that trial is immediate. Trial is not immediate, but because we have a lot of steps to take to get to that point, and we are taking them appropriately. So pretrial today, final pretrial here in the courtroom, we're scheduling and moving forward at that point. If you are on the not contested docket, guilty or no contest, or the sentencing docket, let me talk to you just a little bit about how things move through a court to sentencing. If you've pleaded guilty or no contest, the general rule is that you're found guilty, it goes on your record, you pay the fines and costs. There are some exceptions at each turn. So first, in terms of fines and costs, I look at the financial information that you've given me for two reasons. One is to set payment, the other is to set bond. So I actually asked for it on both dockets so that I don't have to keep getting people to fill out multiple same information paperwork with a different title at the top. I just use that information where it's supposed to be used. And that's what that was for, okay? Generally speaking, I'm using that in sentencing though. And on the guilty or on the guilty or no contest avenue, I'm just looking at that with you and determining what's going on with your finances. And that can feel a little bit invasive, but it's required that I do that, okay, for a variety of reasons to see what you're entitled to in terms of that sentence. So that's sort of humming in the background. Then with regard to having it go on your record, being found guilty and having it go on your record, there are still 4 ways to gain a dismissal at that point. I'm going to tell you what they are and then just tell you briefly what you can expect from me as the judge with regard to that. There are compliance dismissals, driver safety course options, deferred dispositions, and teen court. These are the dismissal options I have available on a plea of guilty or no contest. Compliance are things that can be brought up to date and dismissed. You ask me if you are curious whether that applies to you. I'm automatically looking for those because the law is clear, the judge shall. That means I look for that with you, okay? An example, for example, would be, let's say that you're cited for your tires being bald. You replace those tires, it's a defective piece of equipment and you were cited for it. You come to court on time, you prove that it's been repaired, fixed, you pay a $10 dismissal fee, and it is not convicted even though you pleaded guilty or no contest. So it's usually equipment type things. Just ask if you're curious. I'm looking automatically and I should be saying to you, hey, did you know? Because the law triggers me that way, okay, to do that. The second one is a driver safety course option. That is for moving violations. We all have the option to do that if we have a Texas driver's license and we are not a CDL holder, or if we were active military or dependent. So I'm looking again to see if you're qualified. Once I see you're qualified, once you're qualified, you can do that every 12 months for purposes of getting a ticket dismissed. And I'll be troubleshooting that with you. If you are moving into that program, it does represent a dismissal if you successfully complete it. And it also represents a savings financially. So let me just talk. Money is the thing people don't like to talk about their finances, and I get that. But in the Class C setting, the sentence is payment of fines and costs. Okay, so we have to talk about it. The court costs are set by the Texas legislature. The fine is set by the judge. When you called the clerk, you probably, if you said how much is this ticket, they gave you that whole number. In the driver's safety course option, you pay the court cost, the fine goes on hold. If you turn in your driving record, the proper record, and your driving course, the proper course on time, you get your ticket dismissed. It doesn't go on your record. The fine that's on hold gets waived. Okay. Ask me if you think you might be qualified. I'm automatically looking to see if you are. The basic threshold requirement besides the license and status of the license is that you're on time to court. Okay. So we can talk about that option if it's you, and definitely if you have questions. I cannot give you legal advice. I can tell you on a plea of guilty or no contest whether you qualify for certain relief. Okay. Like those two things. Okay. The third thing, the deferred disposition. Defer means delay. Disposition means to make final. I delay making your case final, and I put a court order in place. It instructs you everything you need to do to gain a dismissal. If you do the things listed, you get the dismissal. Here's how that works in a Class C court. It's different from other types of courts. You can ask the judge for a deferred disposition in a Class C court directly without asking the prosecutor on a plea of guilty or no contest only. And the way that you do that is guilty or no contest. I'd like a deferred. It was an option on the paperwork that you may have filled out for court today, but you might or might not have understood it. It is also information that is on the court's website. But in any event, you must make the request. The judge does not make the request of you. Then it is up to the judge, that would be me, to say, yes, you can do that, or no, you may not. And I just have discretion on that. So it is kind of a mother may I situation. The prosecutor can also sometimes, may also sometimes recommend a deferred disposition to the judge on a contested plea with the person agreeing and asking as well. So that sometimes you'll see that happen coming out of those pretrial rooms on occasion. Okay, so that can happen as well. At county, at the Class B or higher level courts, you must go through the prosecutor. In the Class C court, a guilty or no contest plea allows you to ask the judge on about 99% of our cases. If you fall in an exception to that, well, I'll talk to you about that if that's you. And then the fourth thing to gain a dismissal that I have from the bench on no contest or guilty plea is teen court. It looks a little bit like a deferred, but it's the things you do are different because the responsibility, what we call the onus, the burden is on the young person to do what needs to be done there, simply for the fact that in a general sense, they committed or may have committed the offense, not the parents, but they have a parent involved because they're underage. And so we ask parents to be part of it and to be helpful and support that, because we don't want to see your young person reoffend. And in the setting of the driving issue, that really comes down to a safety issue and whether you, survive driving. I mean, really, literally, the 25 and under group, the younger you go on that scale, the more likely we are to see that person injured or killed. And that's statistically true. So we're moving towards safety. If it's a criminal offense, we're moving towards learning so we don't reoffend and generate being in that system repeatedly, cutting off the future of that young person in some very real ways at times, with a record that stops them from dreams and goals. So teen court is about addressing all that. And if you're underage or in high school, middle school, I'll be pushing teen court a little bit. And if you don't want to do it, I'm not going to force you. I can't. But if you want to do it, you save a bunch of money, you keep it off your record, and you do the things that are most guaranteed to keep you out of court again. So that's what teen court is about. Okay, Mr. Mattson, I know that you and Mr. Kramer were talking about the Silvana Rosero case, and I just want to take that and move y'all forward. Let me grab that file while y'all unmute, please, both of you. And Mr. Mattson, where are we at this time?
Kind of the same situation, Your Honor. We're going to set for final, and Mr. Kramer is going to speak with his client about the offer that was made. That's
fine. Our final date for pretrial, and we treat that as both a pretrial or a plea docket if it needs to be. But if you want to get everything, if it settles, you want to get everything in beforehand to cancel that date, that works. But just make sure, because only the judge excuses that docket. So
Great.
that
Thank you,
date is,
Judge.
it's just like anything, but November 16th, I know you know, but folks here might not. November 16th at 1 o'clock. Okay.
Thank you, Judge. Have a great week.
Thank you. And you as
Thank you.
well.
Thank you.
And yes, moving forward with the pretrial docket and then with my docket, Gomez case, Mr. Mayock's case and Attorney Rowley's case. And Ms. Rowley, I'm assuming if you'll unmute, your client is here.
Yes, ma'am.
Often, sometimes the client goes with you, sometimes the client doesn't, just like in the courtroom. It's up to you as the attorney to tell me, are we all going or just you? What's it going to look like today?
I think at this point, just me and Mr. Matson is fine, and then I can fill Mr. Mayock in afterwards.
Okay, and if you need to do that in the middle, you just come back in and let me know. Okay?
Thank you.
That's between you and your client. Mr. Mayock, he'll be right back, okay?
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. You're just cooling your heels, okay, sir?
Okay.
Okay, so now I'm just moving forward. Let me just get that file on top. I'm moving forward and would like to speak with Isaac Caballero. If you could unmute and tell me how you're doing this morning.
Good morning, Judge. I'm doing fine.
Thank you for letting me know. So yes, I'm looking at your citation, and this is one of those cases. It's a speeding offense, and it's dated, the accusation date September 19th, and the fines and costs, if you paid them, are $254. With teen court, you don't actually pay that. I'll talk to you more about that in a moment. But first, I did receive a no contest plea, and before I accept that plea, could you let me know, Isaac, do you understand what you're accused of doing and the pleading options that I described of guilty, not guilty, and no contest?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And today your plea is no contest, is that correct?
So I went over there to check my ticket out, and
Yes.
the lady that was there told me that it really didn't matter which one I picked, so I got confused. She just told me that whichever one
She told you what?
to pick, whichever one, guilty or constant.
Yeah, you have to plead. We can't plead for you. So she was trying to tell that to you. You can plead guilty, not guilty, or no contest. I truly do not have an opinion about your plea, but I want to make sure you know what you're pleading and what the effect is. So what is your plea to the speeding charge at this time?
I am guilty.
Okay. So I'm also going to let you know that I will accept your request for teen court and I will grant teen court. Teen court, the way that teen court works right now, there is a $20 teen court fee. Okay. And I'm wondering, can you pay that fee today?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And then what you're going to actually do with this particular offense, the avenue that we're going to work toward is just getting you to take a driver safety course that is really more specific to your age level, the one that we have in Benson. And I just whispered to the clerk to get the order ready. And what I need you to do is come by today, pay the $20 fee, sign your paperwork for teen court, and we'll give you the class information. There's a pretty quick deadline of 30 days. I need it back by November 17th. Sorry, I'm just making some notes. And so you'll have to kind of get on it and get that done. But you get it done, you get your certificate of completion, you turn it in at the clerk's desk where you did your papers here previously, and I review it and sign the dismissal and waive the $254 on your ticket. So do you want to do that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, very good. When can you be here this morning?
We can go
After the meeting. So it's 9:30 right now. Let's look for you around 10:30.
That's fine.
If you're early, it's okay. We'll just try to have everything at the front for you. Okay. Are we good?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you know what you're expected to do?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And are you dad or grandfather?
My dad.
Your dad. What is your dad's name?
Tarcisio.
Say it again.
Tarcisio, Tarsicio.
And the last name is Caballero?
Yes.
Okay, wonderful. Welcome, Mr. Caballero, as well. Actually, because he's underage, you'll come with him and you'll sign off on the paperwork too. So if y'all are at the front, just read it, make sure you know what we're doing, okay? What we're asking of you. If you have questions, the clerk probably can answer. If the clerk can't answer, the clerk will send the question to me. We'll make sure we keep that communication line open, okay?
Okay.
Okay, so Isaac, I do want to tell you just before we kind of go, if you were in court, I'd be telling you this too. Speed is the #1 cause of death and injury on the roadway in the state of Texas. You were in the super group, okay? So I really want to put a short timetable on this because I want the health and safety issue for you addressed quickly so that you just drive a little bit better. The studies are very real on that, and we can expect that you'll be much more safe after you do this, okay? Okay. All right, we'll see you at the counter shortly, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you. Y'all are free to hang up now, okay? Okay, Mr. Matson, Mr. Raleigh, Ms. Raleigh, excuse me, on the Mayock case, where are we at this time?
Your Honor, we're going to set for final so that Ms. Raleigh has a chance to review the discovery materials that she has requested.
Okay, that's fine. And November 16th at 1 o'clock, we'll be here unless we're resolved.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayock, I know that you and Ms. Raleigh will be speaking outside of the hearing of the court. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, y'all are good. Everyone's good to go. Okay, and Mr. Matson, I'm advancing you forward with your next person, which is Tina Casey. Ms. Casey, can you get on screen and unmute? Let's make sure we're all on the same page, okay?
I'm here.
Okay, is your camera turned off?
It's turned on.
Okay, it's a blank screen, which to me normally means.
There's an issue with Zoom.
Okay.
I've diagnosed it a number of times.
Okay, I don't know who you are, but Ms. Casey, I will move you on over to the pretrial room. Are you able to see people?
I can. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, it helps a little bit. You know, we just all do better face to face, and this isn't exactly face to face, but you know, that's why I try to get people onto the same page here. But we'll move you on over to the pretrial room. That's a meeting with the city's prosecutor. And once you're done, you'll actually come back in this room. You've probably seen that happen a few times already. Here we go. Mr. Matson, it looks like that's moving.
Thank you, Judge.
And there they are. They're in the room. So you're good to move on. And I'm good to move on through. My next person that I would like to talk to is Zachary Linklater. Linklater, can you get on screen? There you are. And unmute. That would be great. And give me a moment to pull your file. Let me know, how are you today?
I'm very good. How are you, Judge?
Doing fine. Thanks for asking. So the next thing I'm going to do is just give me a second to look at your file. And you are 16. So ma'am, are you mom?
Yes, ma'am.
And what's your name?
My name is Christine Linklater.
Christine?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Linklater. And required to have a parent, so we're good there. You're on time for court. There was no accident, but this is a speeding charge with a request for teen court and a plea of no contest. Before I accept your plea, I just want to make sure you understand what's happening. So you know that what you're accused of, which is the speeding charge, and it's alleged for September 19th. And if you paid the ticket, it is $254. Are you following what's going on?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and mom, do you feel like it's following?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and then the plea was no contest with the request, which I will accept your plea and order teen court. That is your plea at this time?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and I think you've already kind of heard, and it's not going to be different because it's a very similar circumstance. just not a high rate of speed, but still enough to cause injury, enough to cause, frankly, serious injury. However, no accident this particular time, thank goodness. And so I just want to get that corrected in quickly, to get the speeding modified, to get the driving modified early in the game, with a driving course that's really a little more specific to you, and also get that done pretty quickly. So there's a $20 team court fee. Can you pay that fee today?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'm sorry, and it is cash.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
then, okay, and then there's a course due November 17th, and we'll give you the information in your packet when you come by to sign up for it. What time can we be here this morning?
As soon as the meeting is over.
Okay, we'll just put 10 to 10:30. And I'm about to sign it too. And so we'll just see you here at the window, right where you came to turn in your other paperwork previously, okay?
Okay.
Okay, do y'all have questions?
No, ma'am.
Okay, then you're free to hang up and we'll see you soon.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you, and thank you, Ms. Linklater.
Thank you.
All are good to hang up. Okay. Moving forward with Chelsea Williamson, if you can get on screen.
Good morning, Judge.
Good morning. How are you this morning?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Thank you. I'm good. This is an assault by threat, and I did get your letter. I did want to just kind of let me check on something real quickly, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
I know what I'm thinking. I got off into the weeds there for a minute. Okay, Ms. Williamson, I will accept your plea of no contest. I will grant your request for a deferral. And let me just move on. I haven't looked yet at your financial situation. Are you able to pay anything towards your balance today?
Yes, ma'am. What's the total balance?
It's still just at the window fine, quote, window fine of $296.
I can pay the whole balance today.
Okay. That sort of becomes one thing we have to do, and it shaves it off quickly. And so then the next thing is just on the assault type charges. I wasn't there, so I don't know exactly everything. Right. So I just to kind of manage this a little bit with you. What happened here?
My neighbor upstairs was taking pictures and yelling at. I had just came home for vacation, and me and my friend was getting out the car, and her husband was at my apartment waiting, and they got into it like a little spat. And I asked them what the issue was, and it started with me and his girlfriend, and then he came out with a baseball bat, and me and him got into a whole argument. And I told him, I said, well, if you're going to do that, I'm going to bring my dude out. And he called the cops. And initially, the cops said that nothing was going to happen. And then I received this court appearance.
Okay. Before we proceed forward, have you had an opportunity to talk with an attorney of your choosing throughout, record and what this could be?
Yes, ma'am. I did try to find an attorney. I've called 7 attorneys for Bell County. Nobody would pick up the case because they said it's a C misdemeanor, and they said a traffic ticket holds more weight. But I was looking for an attorney for the simple fact of I'm in the nursing program at Temple College, and that would disqualify me for the whole state of Texas. So they just told me, like, one of the attorneys, his name was Wolf. He told me to ask for a deferred sentence. And he said, since I don't have a background and never been in trouble, that the judge might grant that so that it doesn't go on my record for the nursing program.
Okay. I certainly can and would be willing to grant it. I think it's an appropriate sentence for a first offense. I do want to caution you that deferreds are a record. There is a record of deferral. Okay. There is, in fact, a record of the event. So if you choose to talk to the prosecutor first to see, his take on the situation, that's a backup step that we are allowed to take. If you want to talk further with someone who might know more about the expunction process before we proceed, I can give you a break to do that. I don't have a problem doing a deferral, especially in the circumstances that you described. I do require in any deferral that you do, like an anger management type course that would be online, and that would be something we could look at. If you would like to take a step first and have the case reviewed by the prosecutor a little more in depth, or if you want more time to meet with an attorney of your choosing to look at more of someone who would be in touch with expunctions and records like that, that's a step you can take before we get started.
Well, I would like to speak to the prosecutor, if that's an option, to see, one, because the whole thing's on the doorbell camera, so they can see the incident and see if.
I'm not actually going to want to get in more into those facts, because I'm going to let you meet with him, but I need to schedule it. So it would be November 17th.
Okay.
For this, it's Zoom again. So I can reset that for you.
Thank you.
And that'd be November 17th. And then we double set so that if something isn't resolved, the next setting is a live setting. That live setting for that matter would be November 30th at 2. Okay. So you'll get something that schedules both. Okay. But we'll start with the Zoom link to the next meeting that's open. Okay. Can we email all of that to you? Is that okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and take that step first. All right, Ms. Williamson.
Thank you.
Thank you. You're good to go.
Thank you, Judge.
Right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay. And Mr. Mattson, I'm just trying to get that other person back over. Were y'all able to communicate?
Yes, Your Honor, we were.
Okay. They should be back over. I think their device will allow. There we go. All right. Very good. So Ms. Casey, I was just asking Mr. Mattson to hold on because I knew you were heading over. And this is a disregarded official traffic control device. The fines and costs are $234. There was some sort of crash or accident. And Mr. Mattson, where are we at this time?
We're going to set for final pretrial, Your Honor, and Ms. Casey has requested discovery on this matter.
Okay. Ms. Casey, we'll schedule discovery here in the courtroom on that same date, November 16th, just to maximize yours and the court's time. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. We'll see you then.
Thank you very much. Have a great day.
Thank you. We'll email you that discovery setting, but it will be at the same time.
Okay.
You have
Yes,
a good
ma'am.
day. You have a good day as well. You're good to go.
Thank you. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Mr. Mattson, I'm moving you forward. Your next person is Rodney Ford. Mr. Ford, I'm going to move you on over to that meeting with Mr. Mattson.
All right. Thank you, Judge. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you. Should happen automatically. And he's moved over, and I am moving forward as well. Give me a moment to figure out. Let's see. Mr. Williamson, Ms. Williamson. And then Mr. Ganderson, let me have you unmute if you would. And I'll talk to you just a little bit. So I have a few things happening all at once. Let me just review where I think we are and kind of get some nods from you to make sure we're on the same page, okay?
Okay.
Okay, so this all starts back in 2018, April 21st of 2018, a driving while license invalid charge. I haven't looked at the court order, but whatever happened with that court order, it's not finished. And there's a balance of $3 553.67. And I have some, we'll talk more about that in a moment, but it's just a balance
Okay.
due. Okay.
Yes.
And then there's a driving while license invalid December 20th of 2018. And again, just a court order not finished and a balance of 553.67.
Mhm.
And then we have a stop June 24th of 2021, a driving while license invalid charge. Fines and costs are at 430.30. And give me a second to just do a quick look. The plea there that I received is a no contest plea. And is that your plea at this time?
Yes, Judge.
Okay, thank you. And then there's an expired registration charge with a plea of no contest from that same stop. And the balance is 430.30. Is that your plea?
Yes, Judge.
Okay. And then I did receive a request, the payment information, and then a request for a payment, $25 a month. And I'm showing that you work at Chick-fil-A. Is that still true?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And so are you the only person with bills in the home?
My sister has a little bit of bills, but
Okay.
I take majority of the bills.
Okay. You live with your sister and her 2 children?
Yes, ma'am.
Is that in her home?
No, in mine.
Okay. And the rent, the 155, that's yours?
Yes, ma'am.
Do they help?
She tries to every now and then, but it's mostly me that takes care of the rent.
Okay. Not strictly speaking my business, but is she working?
She just started working. She doesn't make too much. Most of her money goes to the kids.
Okay. So okay, I can do the low payment as you requested. I think, one thing to note is that I take the warrant off, but the hold on the license that I'm 98% sure I have, I'll
Yep.
look in a second. Mr. Granderson. Yeah, that doesn't go off until it's paid. So
Yes.
you're going to want to, when you have an opportunity, you're going to want to speed that up to get out from
Yes.
under it faster, because it's just going to benefit you.
Yes. When I was at court before, I was looking into getting the SR-22 and occupational license. But when I was at court before and I was paying on, I had a payment plan for those previous tickets. I ended up losing my job and my phone ended up getting turned off and my truck actually broke down on me all in around the same month. And it spiraled from there until I got this job that I've been
Okay.
at for almost 2 years.
Okay. So I'm going to also have at the window for you, I call it my super packet. All it is I have taken the information available to anyone, if they know where to look online, on how to get an occupational. So
Okay.
what I'll do is put that in with your packet. I'm just going to swing back and get it.
Okay.
And it's kind of thick. It's a walkthrough on how to get your license temporarily while you're getting through what this impact of the new cases. They're not new, but they're new to you because you've just appeared. And so whatever's
Yes.
going on with your license, it will complicate that. Okay. And it will explain to you, and it even includes the forms that those judges in those courts and how to find the right court, the forms they want to see. So I'm going to give you that packet as well. And then
Okay.
what I want to ask you is $25 a month. When can we start today?
Yes, we can start today.
Okay. And can you come, you need to come by the court to sign.
Okay.
When will you be in?
I could probably be there within the hour.
Okay, I'll put by 11.
Okay.
Okay. And so do you have any questions?
No, Judge.
I'll recall your warrants today with your signature. The court is a safe harbor, meaning that if you come in to reasonably resolve your case, you will not be arrested here. So don't be worried about coming in. It's not a gotcha. We just need to get things going in the right direction. You have an ongoing duty to keep your address current with the court at all times. If you lose your ability to pay or run into trouble, you have a duty to come in and talk to me about it so that I can make other options available to you. Okay?
Okay.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Don't lose touch again. I know it's kind of hard to think about it, but it doesn't go away. And of course, you already know that. But I'm just reminding you in a friendly way, keep up with it so that we don't go back to it. Expensive doesn't help you. Okay.
Yes.
But if you're talking to me sometimes.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. So that'll all be available at the window. And we'll see you around 11.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Granderson. You're good to go. And I'm moving forward. My next person, let's see. People have kind of been coming and going a little bit. Let me get real clear about who's here. All right. So if I had, somebody got this. And let me get Mr. Ford back. Okay, Mr. Ford, you can be unmuted, and Mr. Mattson, let me know where we are with regard to Mr. Ford's case.
We can go ahead and set for final, Your Honor, but I anticipate that this will be resolved prior to that date.
Okay, Mr. Ford, I'm scheduling that, and you should already have it in your packet, but November 16th at 1 p.m. here in the court, okay?
Thank you, ma'am.
All right, we'll see you then.
Thank you.
You're good to hang up. Okay, and Mr. Mattson, I'm moving you forward, and your next person, I can find him, is Mr. Gary Zimmerman, and I do believe he may, don't know, I think he might be, I think he's on a phone. Mr. Zimmerman, are you able
Yes,
to,
ma'am.
are you on a telephone?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'm going to move you over to this meeting with Mr. Mattson, who is the prosecutor. Just be aware that at the end of that meeting, the way that Zoom works, it is friendly to the telephone, but there's not a way to come back over here to this meeting. So you'll hang up and dial back in to do that, okay?
All right. Thank you, Judge.
All right, I'm moving you over to that meeting. And that has happened. Mr. Ford, you're good to go. Okay, very good. Ashley Johnson, can you get on the screen? And, oh, I'm sorry, you're on a phone, I think. Ms. Johnson, can you unmute?
Yes.
Okay, give me a moment to review everything.
Yes, ma'am.
We have 3 cases and a balance of $1429.50. We had 46 hours of community service. It was due August 8th. We're pretty far out from that deadline, but I still need to ask, did you do any of the hours?
I'm gonna be honest, I didn't do any of the hours.
Yeah, it only pays to be honest in a court, because if you said you did them, I would ask you to prove it. So I just want to make sure that I'm not missing a way to give you some relief from the judgment. So now I'm moving forward with your current request, which is a plan of $25 to $50 a month. I'm still showing that you could potentially be eligible for the community service option. I can, however, approve that low payment of $25 a month. And if you want to pay more, you certainly can. It's a minimum due payment. Tell me what will work for you. Tell me what will work for you.
I would rather do the payment plan because I have depression, so I can't just do community service. That's part of the reason why I couldn't do community service, because I have severe depression and I had 5 family members pass. So I would rather just do the payment plans. I started working, I can afford to do it now.
Okay, I will believe you. So
Yes.
$25. Can we start today?
I can actually start Thursday. That's the day I get paid.
Okay. Let me just
Yes,
look.
ma'am.
Let me look and see the just real quickly the dates. Give me just a second. I forgot to pull my calendar up this morning. Thursday is
Yes.
Thursday is the 13th. Can we do a payment on the 13th?
I believe I can do a payment on the 13th.
Are you sure? Or does it need to be the 14th?
I'm not sure because this will be my first check, so I'm not sure if I'm going to get paid on the 15th or is it going to be 2 days early, so the 13th.
I see. Okay. So when are you normally paid? What are your pay dates?
I believe it's bi-weekly, so every 2 weeks. So I believe it's the 15th and either the 30th.
Okay, that's bi-monthly. So we could do the Monday is the 17th. We could just put it on the 17th, or we can put it on the 31st, which is the day after your second pay date.
I'd rather do it the 17th so I can just start early so I can know every 17th is when I pay something. That's how I would
Okay.
love to do it.
Okay, well, I can live with that. So the 17th, I do need to get your signature. And
Yes,
so what time can you come by today?
As soon as we're done with this meeting.
Okay, I'll just put like 10:30-ish, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, we'll have everything at the window for you, Ms. Johnson. I do want to highlight, just keep up with your dates, okay? What happened,
Yes,
you almost went to warrant, which is expensive, and it can be very inconvenient. So if you run into problems, come in and talk to a clerk who, if they cannot help you, will put you in touch with you, okay? But
yes, ma'am.
Don't let it go again, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, we'll have everything at the window for you, okay?
All right, thank you.
All right, you're good to hang up.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you, Ms. Johnson. Okay, and Mr. Mattson, you were talking with Mr. Zimmerman, and I have let him back into the meeting. And where are we? Mr. Zimmerman, you can unmute if you wish, but I'm asking Mr. Mattson to give me an update where we are with regard to Mr. Zimmerman's matter.
Mr. Zimmerman has requested discovery materials, and so we are going to set for final pretrial.
Okay, that's at 1 o'clock on November 16th. And just to utilize yours and the court's time, we'll set those at the same time. Mr. Zimmerman, we'll see you here on that date, okay? Hopefully you can hear me. Oh, there you go. I know you unmuted. Any questions? Mr. Zimmerman? We'll see you November 16th at 1, okay? I'm going to leave him on for a moment and see if we can. There we go. Do you know what's happening? He unmuted. He muted himself. Okay. Well, that's okay. That's another reason why we schedule court, because the technology isn't always everybody's best friend. So we'll just plan to see you. I think you can hear me. Something's happening where I can't hear you. So if you have questions about today, call the clerk. But otherwise, we're planning to see you here November 16th at 1, and that's when we'll do the discovery as well. Okay, thank you. Okay, Mr. Matson, I'm just trying to check and see. I know did we already talk to, okay, Mayock has already been talked about. And then Harold Woodruff was here. Mr. Woodruff, are you still here? Oh, no, we had him mixed up with somebody else. It wasn't him. Okay, he's a no-show. And William Sams, are you here? I don't think so, but I'm just double checking. Every now and then I get somebody misidentified. Mr. Matson, those will just proceed the way they do towards warrant, and you are good to go. Thank you for your time today.
Thank you, Judge.
We'll see you tomorrow in trials.
Yes, you will. Have a good day.
All right, you too. Mr. Avilas or Avila, do you say Avilas or Avilas? I think it's
Aviles.
Aviles.
It's either way is fine.
I'm going to get it wrong 7 times before I get it right. But I try to do better each time. So there's expired motor vehicle registration. The case went to warrant. Let's see, there's a request for reduction. Sort of a maybe incomplete payment application. I'm not entirely sure. So let me look at the fines and costs. And while I'm looking at those, you can tell me what you feel like the reason to lower it.
Well, so yes, ma'am. Yeah, I understand it went to warrant. I probably should have came in a little bit earlier, but I'm trying to get it settled right now because I don't have a license. And I was really hoping that we could, come to an agreement for something smaller, and just get it taken care of today, get it out of the way, and then I can get back on the road because I have a lot of responsibilities as far, as driving. I have to drive, I probably supposed to drive about 3 hours a day. And, I have people on my crew that rely on me, and it makes it very difficult for me. I'm just trying to get this stuff taken care of, get it out of the way. And then that way I can continue on with, with what I need to do on a day-to-day basis.
Okay. So I want to tell you, I looked while you were talking, but I listened.
Okay.
And so the one thing is that with this particular ticket, because it's one of those compliance cases and that required being on time. So we missed that ship. But the reason I'm mentioning it is the fine is not really high. The majority of the fees on your case are state mandated fees that I can't change. But I am willing to lower the fine. It's a $70 fine. I'm willing to lower it to $40. There's some collection fees that will also drop down. So, give me a second. The fine's actually maxed. Hold on. I might have a little more room to move.
Okay.
Oh, I see. Okay. The fines actually are at 200. So she's showing me how that works we have a new system, so I apologize.
Okay, no problem.
So I can drop that fine to 70, okay? And that will also do a further reduction. I don't know yet. There's a collection fee that also recalculates. So I can get you a final total and see about whether you can pay it today. Do you agree?
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Okay.
ma'am. Yeah.
Okay, so we can take it. And then that's just that one. Once I get you a total, I'll be seeing what you can pay today or how quickly. And give me a moment while I'm waiting for that to happen. I believe
Yes, ma'am.
Jack. I'm going to mute
Okay.
just briefly while the clerk works on it, and I'm going to talk to the next person. Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Be right back with you. Stacia or LaStacia Jackson, can you unmute? Hi, Miss Jackson. How are you today?
I'm okay. How are you?
I'm okay too. I did receive a plea of guilty on a driving while license invalid charge. And I also did receive a plea of speeding in a school zone, a plea of no contest. And then we have an older case of an invalid license with just a judgment that's not completed. And the fines and costs there are $538.67 due to the passage of time. The case going to warrant, it made it go up quite a bit. And then currently I'm showing that you don't have, excuse me, don't have income at this time. And therefore I would order community service for all three things.
Yes, ma'am.
And recall your warrants in hopes of getting this resolved. And that would turn into 55 credit, 55 hours of community service. And I would put a due date of December 13th. I can always grant an extension if you show up on time or early. Give me what you've got. Let me know how much more time you need. And I work with you if we need to. You can turn it in early. You can turn it in early too, and we clear your balance and release the hold on the license. But I can't release the actual hold until the case is zeroed out and I can take it off my to-do list, so to speak. So
Yes, I had signed for community service before, but it was during the pandemic, and the place I was doing community service at closed down. And then I got sick, lost my house, and I moved away. And so that's how I ended up like not being able to do that. But this time I should be able to do the community service probably before December.
okay, so let's try it again. I recognize the pandemic was really very stressful for all of us. Okay, so I'm not going to minimize that at all. But when I say follow up with it, because we were holding court online and I would have worked with you.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
don't let it go back to warrant. If you run into difficulty, reach out, okay, before your due date. Okay.
Right. Because back then I didn't know very much. I didn't know to like reach out and everything. And I just kind of try to forget, but now I know how it works. So I'm not gonna let it go out the way.
Okay. Okay. I hope so. When can you come in today just to sign for everything and pick up your community service packet?
Right after the phone call.
Okay. Coming in, I'll just put by 11.
Yes, ma'am.
And remember that the court is a safe harbor and you are coming in to resolve. So you're not going to be arrested here. Okay. All right. We will see you at the window shortly.
Okay, thank you.
I'm thinking probably you need a way to figure out how to get the license back.
Right. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So I'm going to give you that. I'm backing up to put it with your packet. And that'll be with your information at the window.
Okay, thank you.
Right. I'm sorry, Ms. Jackson, do you have any further questions?
No, ma'am, you've answered them all.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
See you at the clerk's desk, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
And Mr. Aviles.
Yes, ma'am.
Aviles.
Yes, ma'am. Yep.
All right. Okay, let me get that balance figured out. Okay, right now I've got you down. Is that it dropped down to that much? Okay, I got you down from 430.30 to 261.30.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Can you pay that today?
Yes, ma'am. I'll be there as soon as I get off the phone with you. I'll head that way.
All right. It'll be at the front desk and we'll see you shortly, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Now,
Thank you so much.
Let me check. I think I have a hold. Okay, I don't have a hold. So this will clear you out completely.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Your warrants will be recalled, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. See you soon.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am. Bye.
Bye-bye.